Hello, this is Wmpyr. Okay, so I'm hoping to do a better job of explaining the chainsaw technique to you guys in this video, right? Each time I make a video on it, I hope to do better, make it more clear, more easy to understand. So in Wing Chun, and I'm not a Wing Chun expert, they have the chain punch, right? I'm sure you guys have all seen it in movies and stuff. And so you have the chain punch in Wing Chun, also called the Sun punch. And then for Jeet Kune Do, they have something called the straight blast. And then in MMA, they have something called the MMA blitz. And then, of course, in Escrima Arnis, Filipino Martial Arts, they have something that I call the chainsaw. And the chainsaw is like this. Boom, 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 boom. Okay? So to me, all of those techniques that I just listed is in the same category. They are all similar techniques. Each one's a little different, but still similar in usage, in idea, and all that, okay? It's rapid fire punching. It's a combo that's rapid fire. That's what it is, okay? So when you look at the Wing Chun chain punch, boom, 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 and like I said, I'm not an expert in that. I'm not an expert in Jeet Kune Do, and I'm not an expert in MMA, but we're examining this, right? The chain punch technique, and let's compare that to the MMA blitz. The MMA blitz is a jab cross. It's a 1-2, 1-2, okay? When you compare the two, I think you can see that the Wing Chun version is going to be faster, okay, because the hands are right there. So it's much, much faster, but it's going to lack in power. The MMA blitz, on the other hand, is the opposite of that, where you're going 1, 2, 1, 2. It has more power, but it's going to lack in speed. So I think at that point, a lot of people go, which one's better, right? And the philosophy that I have is I always view it as a tool. So whether we're talking about techniques or whether we're talking about styles, I view them as a tool. And the rule of thumb when it comes to tools is if you know the when and the how, then that is the most important thing, okay? If you use the wrong tool at the wrong time for the wrong situation, then you're not going to get anything done. If you use the right tool for the right time in the right situation, then boom, it makes things so much easier. So that is the same idea. So like I said to you guys, the Wing Chun one would be, it's more speed. So in a situation where speed is necessary or speed is advantageous, then obviously use the Wing Chun chain punch. And then in a situation where power is going to be more advantageous, then use the MMA blitz. So that's the way that I see it, okay? It just depends on the circumstance. So in our case, ours is much closer to the MMA blitz because the MMA blitz is 1, 2, 1, 2, jab, cross, right? And you're running, you're charging in to close the distance. So for us, we're doing the same thing, but it's 1, 2, 1, 2, okay? So you can see that it's the body is turning, boom, 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 as you close the distance. So it's much closer to the MMA version, and we don't do this, okay? You can see I'm hitting, and the reason why we don't do it that way, and we're going shoulder to shoulder, okay, so I'm involving the shoulder turning, even though it's slower, it's more powerful, and the reason why we don't do it this way is because, man, we have weapons that have cross guards, glass breakers, and even some saws on the spine side, okay, and it could damage our own weapon. It could shred and hurt our hand and also our arm. So it just makes sense for us not to do it. Now, that is not knocking or mocking any Wing Chun practitioner. I'm sure there are Wing Chun people that can do that kind of stuff with their Wing Chun butterfly swords, no problem. So good for them. I'm just saying it's different. For us, it doesn't make sense because if we adjust it this way, then this will be the only technique where we do this, and we don't have that in our other stuff, and our idea is one system for all the stuff that we do. It just doesn't make sense on so many levels. So we don't do it like that, okay? We go here and here. If we are gonna go, it'll be like this. It won't be here, okay? It'll be here. So the way for you guys to practice is go outside, go to a place where you have lots of room, and you're gonna close the distance, you're gonna sprint. 1, 2, 1, 2, okay? Practice doing that. You know, go to a park would be excellent, and just practice, you know, doing quick short bursts like sprints to close the gap, okay? And that's a good way to practice. So in part 2, so this is part 1. In part 2, I'm going to talk about, well, what about speed? Because I just said this is more for power. It benefits more power than it does speed. But what about a circumstance when we need speed? So that'll be in part 2 of this video. So that's it for now. Thank you for viewing, and take care, folks.